It's very impressive to me that with as many weapons as it has, Splatoon 3 still manages to give almost every weapon its own identity in some form. E-Leader is the long-range hard anchor, while Bamboozler is the close-range, more supportive charger meant to butter people up for their teammates to finish off. 52 is an offensive powerhouse, while Aerospray is meant to avoid fights it doesn't have to take and paint the area for its team. Even weapons like the N-Zap or Splash, which don't really specialize in anything, are still distinctive. You see people talk about them both. But then there's this one weapon that doesn't perform uniquely, has an extremely similar name to a different weapon, and overall hasn't seen any love in a long time. The 96 gal. Yeah, I'm kidding, you saw the thumbnail. 96 is guilty of this too, but you see far more people actually talk about it, especially now with the new Deco kit. But the H3 nozzle nose has nothing going for it. To start this off, let's give a basic rundown of the stats. The biggest difference between the H3 nozzle nose and the other shooters is that while most other shooters have full auto fire, the H3 fires in bursts of 3, doing 41 damage per shot. Now, this means you can kill with a single tap of the weapon, but it's pretty hard to do. It takes a lot of skill to actually get all your shots to hit, and it's much less forgiving than the normal full auto shooters due to the worse sustain and the burst fire leaving you with less paint to work with. The L3 is still challenging, but it's much more forgiving with the better paint and less time between bursts. But if there's anything that can boost a weapon, it's a good kit. And the H3's kit is okay. Like, it doesn't need a bomb, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't benefit from it. People aren't perfect, and people new to the weapon are not going to consistently get one taps. And then the sub we get is literally one of the worst subs in the game right now. Like, it's not horrible. Obviously, you can get value out of having your opponent's exact locations, but it's hard to use in solo queue and on teams. Just say where they are, man. Fun fact, if you mark an enemy with a point sensor and your teammate kills them, it counts as an assist, even though you didn't deal any damage to them. I got use out of that. And the special weapon is there. What's the point of Tacticooler on H3? It's not really a support weapon. The reason the Tacticooler can work on something like the N-Zap is because it can take a more supportive role, painting area and getting the special for its team. H3 doesn't do either of those things. Its paint is unreliable and it doesn't get that many specials. But how do we use the H3 nozzle nose? Well, for starters, don't. L3 is also a burst weapon and it just got a new kit. It's pretty cool. Special sucks, but it does have what is pretty much the best sub-weapon in the game, but there's still a point to using it, handicapping yourself to train. If you can work with worse sustain, no bomb, and a bad special weapon, you can handle the L3D, as everything but its special is better. The lack of one burst in shorter range can hurt, but you can get used to it. As for actual advice for the H3, use the point sensor on enemies who hide around corners so you can pre-aim. Take advantage of your range, and don't be afraid to fall back if you need to. While not related to the main weapon, try to keep the Tacticooler near the front lines. Frontliners can and will get more use out of the buffs than backliners. The biggest issue you will have with learning the H3 is just getting used to hitting bursts. But I can't teach you how to aim, that comes with experience. But that's all I can really say about the weapon, as I'm not a competitive player and the only time I've actually used an H3 was for this video. But in conclusion, just use a 52 gal, man.